I don't cry when it rains no more, or I get dirt on my shoes. I don't mind climbing 8 more floors, 'cause these stairs are all heading to you. I don't wait for tomorrow's sunshine when I feel it today. But when it's cold in the dead of winter, remember that snow melts away. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance before the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. We don't need plans or a fancy agenda. Let's just see where it goes. We got no care for the way people stare at the dust and the dirt on our clothes. Hey, my friend, we'll never say
Come on into the Cajun cooking experience. How y'all doing tonight? Hey, I'm Spuddy and got Elaine over here to the left looking at the computer. And tonight we're going to cook something that one of those dishes somebody asked for. Red bean gumbo. Man, where did we ever get red bean gumbo? Where did that come from? Okay, who invented that? Really don't know. You know, red bean gumbo, you'll see red bean soups out there. Red bean gumbo is very new, and I really believe it's very unique to the St. James Parish, the East Bank of St. James Parish being specific. So guess what? We're going to talk more about that later. All right, Gary. Hey, Joanne. Yeah, Ronald. 2 weeks in a row, brother. So first we're going to start. So red bean gumbo. It's actually, okay. Hey, Lucy. What a red bean gumbo is, it's actually, this is my opinion. We have blue runner red beans. What I understand is started in St. James Parish, didn't last long here, and moved to Ascension Parish. Towards the end of St. James Parish, and then moved into Ascension. Been in Ascension for years and years and years. To me, one of the ways to promote that red beans was to come up with this red bean gumbo. If you go to a Christmas bonfire on the levee and on the East Bank of St. James Parish, you're going to have many, many, many red bean gumbos cooked out there. That's where it's most popular at. It's starting to catch on other places. As far as going find recipes and all that for it, find it in cookbooks. Unless it's somebody local writing, you're probably not going to find it. It's something that kind of was just invented, kind of just evolved, kind of part of our Cajun heritage. All right, hey, Charmaine, what's up, Tim? What's happening, my brother? So tonight we're going to start off like we'll start off everything. We're going to start off with a roux. In making this roux, we're going to actually build our regular gumbo. Now you see on the side, I just pot of white red beans here. Most of the time, what you're going to see people doing, they're going to take the big can of blue runner red beans and they're just going to use that. You have to pulverize these beans. I just use emulsifier. I went in there and you put it in the blender, but you have to make them real, real creamy. I just put them on the stove, let them boil a long time, give them extra water to boil in so I didn't have to watch them too long. But something I did is that I cooked the red beans with the meats like I normally would cook. I put some turkey necks in it. I put some sausage in it. I even put some onions and bell peppers in it because I wanted that flavor in the red beans when I bring it over to the gumbo. So I want the red beans to have its flavor. I also want the gumbo to have its flavor. And you're bringing both of these flavors together. A lot of people will just take the red beans by itself and bring it over. Trying something a little different. I want to build it a little different today. Spuddy, cooking my forte. Been cooking this a long time. My mama's probably got the front row seats up there watching. Probably said, move St. Peter, that's my seat. Ronald, that's what I say, y'all. And you may know more about the tradition over there in the East Bank than I know, Ronald. I didn't hear about red bean gumbo until I came to Vacherie, and it's just in the last few years that I actually heard about it. Hey, Julia, so as soon as this grease gets started, we're going to start building this roux. All right, Rory, and you the man that asked for this. So you're right, nothing but flavor. You know, a lot of people just take that can of red beans and just go ahead and put it through a blender and then bring it in here and don't season their red beans. I guess that's all right. I found my best red bean gumbo was when I had leftover gumbo, leftover red beans, and I'd bring them together because they both had their own flavor. And when you put them together, they came up with a whole different flavor. It was just unbelievable. All right, Harvey, what's happening? So let's see if we got our oil ready. It should have been ready, but I forgot to turn the fire on. Okay, let's get this puppy rolling. Now, what I'm using, Kim, what's happening? So what I'm using now, I'm using lard to make my roux. If you want to use avocado oil or something like that, that's fine. I wouldn't use butter. Probably going to be, you're probably not going to be able to get dark enough. But if you wanted to use butter, that's fine. Also, when I cook the beans, also threw a little bit of butter in these beans. So it kind of gave them a little creaminess and give them a little flavor. So I got flavors coming from all over the place in this thing. So everybody knows red beans. Got this big tradition about red beans, cooking red beans on Monday, and New Orleans red beans and all this stuff. And where did that come from? They really don't know. But the cooking red beans on Monday was, they said you cook the ham on Sunday dinner, you cook the red beans on Monday, and use that ham bone in there and put it on a little simmer while you had wash day. Back in them days, wash day was by hand. You just didn't throw it in the washing machine and watch the soap opera. It was a little bit tougher than that. Spuddy, don't look too hard. You're going to see my eye pulling out the screen watching you. Ron, I wish you were here to get some, brother. Okay, April. So I watched the best ever food review show. If I can make it back down to Louisiana sometime before the world ends, I'm coming to some food. April, you come on over and see me. And in case anybody doesn't know what she's talking about, the best ever food review show is where we did Boiling 10,000 Crawfish series. Right now, I looked at it the other night. It's getting ready to clip 17 million views. Pretty good for Old Country Boy. And it's still the #1 crawfish video on YouTube today. That's pretty badass. What's up, my brother Bruce? Now you'll see this. I'm going out there and looked at recipes all over the place. What they'll do is they'll throw a little oil in here. You won't see this cooked like all gumbo. I went and looked at gumbo recipes, red bean recipes. They'll have it red bean soup. And the red bean soup has no roux in it. And they even talk about soup bunches in the red bean soup. So you're talking about taking a red bean and making it a red bean soup. And they would call that red bean gumbo. Or we call it actually red bean gumbo soup. So I found that was, when you get away from this area, there's no telling what it's called. What's up, Sammy? What's happening, my brother? All right, now we're gonna get this roux going. Get us a little color in this roux. Now, if I wanted to make this more red bean flavor than gumbo, then I would have just cooked my onions down, threw a little flour in those onions, made a little light roux, and bring the red beans in. But I want the full flavor of everything. Hey, Vicky, what's happening? Hey, Monica. Man, look how my people coming on tonight. All right, we get this roux going. And you see, when I'm making a roux, I don't have a measurement. I'm just looking at it. I'm just feeling my way through this roux. I'm looking at it, and I kind of know the thickness I want, kind of like wallpaper glue. And once you can get that knack and get away from a roux recipe, man, you really got it made. Now, and the roux's too much fun to me. I'm serious. It's fun to me. To go buy a roux in a jar, it's kind of like watching paint dry. It's pretty boring. I'm not knocking people buying a roux in a jar. I'm not going to be the one to do it. Everybody's got to make a living. Buy that roux in a jar if you like. All right. Now, we're going to keep this rolling. This is the most important part. So I got to keep an eye on this. You can't buy a plate of red beans up here, let alone red bean gumbo. So Tim Jackson, who is from Narco, knows what a good plate of red beans are. Can't buy a plate of red beans. Way up there in what? North Dakota, I think, Tim? Almost at the end of the world. So a lot of the red bean gumbo recipes I saw, you get into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they'll start talking about it. You know what it is? All it is the way we cook our red beans, our regular, everyday red beans. They would call that, they would just add a little bit more water to it or whatever the hell they did, and they would call that red bean gumbo. And if you read the recipe, all it is all red beans over rice that we cook. But they didn't make it creamy. So they showed a picture of it. And what it was, the red beans, they were still whole. They didn't make them creamy. I said, man, the rice was still white when you poured the beans over it. Now you know that wasn't much. So it was more like a soup. They wouldn't make the beans creamy, but they call it red bean gumbo. Hey, Jill. Yes, North Dakota. What's the coldest y'all got this year, Tim? So you take a guy out of Norco and you bring him to North Dakota and he can't get no red beans. Man, that's a long way from home. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I mean, we kind of grew up on that kind of stuff, you know? And you see, you can tell this root, watch this pattern. You see how it just comes together? I'm gonna kind of go this way. You see, it kind of spreads and it slowly comes back. This is how you know that root is getting the right consistency, where it just slowly comes back together. And I'll bring the camera in on it. So I just slowly come back together. Kind of like when you pass a pirogue in a swamp and it spreads the water and then the water slowly comes back. Hey, Betty, good seeing you today. Hey, Sharon. That's right, close with another mother. 20 or so. I've seen minus 40 wind chill. Just doesn't sound like fun to me, Tim. Hey, Rosalie. My mom would cook the beans for an hour and then smash them in a colander. So one of the recipes I saw out there, they would take the beans, boil them, and smash them in a sieve. Back then they didn't have blenders and all that. Like Ronald saying the same thing. Smash them in a colander. Get that creaminess. Now we got all the fancy gadgets. It's pretty easy. Pass it in the blender. Get your immersion tool right there. Just go ahead and keep mixing it. All right, we're starting to get a little color to our roux now. Hey, Emily, hard to find blue runner red beans in my area in Texas. Get them on Amazon and Walmart. Wow. Something we really take for granted. So anybody not familiar with red beans, hey, Bonnie, I really want to know how to make a red bean gumbo. Pay attention, Bonnie. It's coming at you. The blue runner red beans, if you know how to doctor them up, you can't tell whether somebody cooked those red beans from scratch or cooked them out of a can. This is one of the few canned goods that I really, really like. And if you just smother you some onions and bell peppers and celery and all that, and then go ahead and throw you some sausage and fry it down, and then bring them beans in, you can't tell. Blue Runner does a great job with these red beans in the can. Bonnie says she is. Believe me, you're going to want to try, Bonnie. It's something different, and it just kind of changes the whole flavor profile of a gumbo. If you like red beans and you like gumbo, now you have the best of both worlds coming together. All right. Now we get a good color on our red beans. On our roux. So red beans goes back as far. Monica, let's see. You're so right on those blue running cans. That's the only canned product I really care for. They really do a good job with that, and they always have. But you have to know how to dock them up, and it's not hard. Light blue runner or Camellia dry beans. Gary, these are Camellia in here. If I'm going to use I'm going to buy some red beans, it's probably going to be Camellia red kidney beans. Oh, yeah, Ronald, we got some raw eggs coming. Bonnie says she's from Louisiana and she loves some Cajun cooking. So red beans go back as far as 8,000 years ago. Probably they think it started in Peru. Okay, so that area, and then with the natives, as they spread out, they probably brought those beans with them. Now, there are also some other theories that the red beans also came over on the transatlantic slave trade. Also, during the 1790s, they had the Haitian Revolution, which would have been Santo Domingo then. And the people, when they left the revolution, came to New Orleans, that have brought some of those beans and some of those cooking traditions with them. And that may have been something to do with the cooking on Monday tradition. Also, they claim that the Spanish, when they came in, could have brought some of this. So there's a lot of theories of how the red beans got here, but more than why they became a Monday tradition. And you'll see that Monday, you go to New Orleans and you get as you come west, you'll see that tradition of cooking red beans on Monday. As you get away from New Orleans, it kind of leaves. Like I never did cook red beans on Monday in my place. I always cook white beans. I wanted to be different. So kind of give you the history of the red beans. And the red beans are part of a group called common beans. What's up, my brother George? And those common beans are some of the most nutritious foods in the world. A lot of superfoods. So red beans, part of that common bean. And so are kidney beans, pinto beans, navy beans, and wax beans. And there's some other things like lentils and all that. These are called superfoods. Bonnie says she loves them pinto beans. That pinto beans are good. And they're probably a little bit more nutritious than the navy bean. But these navy beans, you take like a 3.5 ounce serving. It had a boil, 3.5 ounces of boil. It's only 127 calories. But you have almost 9 grams of protein, 8.7 grams of protein. This is a high protein food. It's got a lot of carbs in it, about 22. And it's high in fiber, 6.4 grams. So this is one of those foods that is really good for you. If you have to watch your carbs, this is something you don't want to eat a lot of. But as far as the nutrition, they're right on. And high in protein, which is good. And which is some good meats in here. Oh. Let's see. Gary said you like them pinto beans for chili. Yep. Saw a recipe today from Vastry Cooking Facebook page. Chicken sausage gumbo cheese. Like hog-head cheese, but made with chicken sausage gumbo and Knox gelatin. That is very interesting, Kim. But one thing about us out here, we try anything. Yeah, it might be good and it might not. If it ain't no good, somebody's dog is hungry. It's not a big deal. So, and then you had a 2001 Indiana paper. They cooked the red bean gumbo. That's the one that was exactly the way we cook our pot of red beans. But it looked terrible because it wasn't creamy. I don't know how you can eat red beans that are not creamy. But I guess that's what they like. And then in California and Florida, there were red bean gumbos, they called them, or red bean gumbo soup. And they were vegan. So I can see why that could be good. But I guess over there in California and Florida, it's going to be all right. But don't bring that out here to Louisiana. Okay, we all be getting a good color in our pot. You can see that color, a good brown, golden brown color in there. We're not far from the gumbo. Now, my gumbos, I don't make a really dark roux. I'll make it dark brown. I don't get much darker than that. Some people make it where it's almost black. Go to West Louisiana, it's going to be almost a black roux. I just don't like mine that dark in my gumbos. But like I said, everybody's got a different opinion. I think I got like that because when I had my restaurant open, I could not make a lot of dark roux because a lot of the older people or a lot of people that's not used to it can't handle it. It sits on their chest. So a lot of people would ask me all the time, you have a dark roux, they wouldn't eat it. What's up, Bones? All right, Joy. Joy says, learn it too. Learn on, my brother. I'm cooking 30-gallon red bean gumbo on Saturday for Gotcho House and Reserve selling by the quart. There you go. So Ron's selling some red bean gumbo over there at the Gotcho House in Reserve. Let's see, Lucy, I always heard that you cook red beans on Monday because it's the day they strip the beds and did your wash. You can put the red beans to cook all day and not worry about them. That's it. You're right on, Lucy. So that is, put them on simmer. Now, this is going back to traditions where you have wood burning stoves. people that could operate those things and you always see, put it on simmer with a wood burner stove, they were pretty badass because they knew what they were doing. I got trouble putting the stove on simmer with operated with gas. And in case y'all didn't notice, this Go 13.1, that's my daughter Heather gave me that as a gift because we both finished the half marathon this weekend. It was a blast. The weather was beautiful, and the band was awesome after. And it was a piece of cake. How much flour and oil did you use? So the oil, probably about a cup of oil, Betty. Flour, I always just feel it out. But if you want to go by something, cup of oil, cup and a half of flour. All right, that's about as dark as I want to get. I'm gonna go ahead and start bringing my onions in. Kind of cook my onions in there a little bit. Let them cook a little bit so that we can let those sugars out and release those sugars, and that'll help with our gumbo and getting our roux settled down. Just remember when you're cooking the roux, the darker the roux, the thinner the gravy. The lighter the roux, the thicker the gravy. So if you make a light roux, you need less. If you're making a light gravy, you need less roux. If you want a dark gravy, you got to bump up that amount of roux you're going to put in. Now we're going to cook that. I'm going to go ahead and bring my bell peppers in. And my garlic. And I'm going to bring my andouille in too. And I want my andouille to fry down a little bit. I use the spicy blue runner, red bean, and ham instead of chicken. Nothing left in the pot. Bro, you got it. If you know how to handle those red beans in the can, the blue runner, there's nobody. I've had people tell me, man, that's the best red beans I ever ate. I say, oh, thank you. I worked on that all day. Hell no, I lied. I dumped that out the can. Okay. Let that fry down a little bit. Then we're going to start bringing our water. Now, the stock. Let me tell you how I did my stock. I have some chicken gizzards I boiled in the stock and some turkey necks. And I went ahead and just boiled that till everything got tender. That gave me my stock that I'm going to put in my gumbo. For my red beans, I just went ahead and just started with plain water. So in case anybody wants to know, if you want some red bean gumbo, Ryan said they're going to be ready by 11 o'clock. Saturday. And that's Saturday. I hope y'all have good weather and y'all knock them out. Okay. Now we're gonna start bringing this stock in. Now remember, the red beans have smoke in it too, with the turkey necks and the sausage in it. And then, so that has that in there. I have turkey necks and sausage and andouille in my gumbo. So we've got a lot of smoke in here. Well, turkey neck, what's happening? Jean Paul, better known as turkey neck. See, I called out turkey necks and he heard me and he came on in. All right, we're going to get this back to a boil. And something else I want to bring in, I'm going to bring a little bit of sausage in too. And I don't need much sausage because I did put a lot of sausage in my red beans. And I had to go out to make this dish tonight. I had to go make a loan so I could get some eggs, to put some eggs in here to finish it off. Just think we used to take them and throw them at cars. Now what we want to do is get this back to a boil. And keep in mind that when you building something with a roux, you want that water to boil at least 15, 20 minutes. If not, you're going to get that gritty taste. You have to get the starches and the enzymes to break down in that flour so that you have a smooth roux. And if you don't do that, you will get that gritty taste. All right, Mama Rose. Ooh. That was hot. Okay. Let's pause for station identification. Now, these are the gizzards of turkey necks. See, I put pieces of turkey neck. I've got turkey necks also with these red beans. Nothing but flavor in this gumbo. Now, I won't know if I need to add some more water until I get this thing boiling and that roux starts thickening up this gravy, okay? And normally what I would do, if I'm cooking in the back and I'm making a gumbo, I would just have water boiling already and bring it over. You got to be a little careful with that because it'll blow up on you. So I've learned to just kind of stand back. Uh-oh, what happened, Elaine? All right, Crystal, what's going on, baby? Hey, my screen went blank. Okay, let's take a look in that pot now. Okay, you can see the gravy is starting to thicken up a little bit. You just gotta, this thing has a really awesome color. The color is perfect in this gumbo. And then we're gonna go from this brown to that, we're gonna get a tint. So Ronald says, how many eggs you got for that pot? So right now, I've got 6 eggs. If they wasn't $20 a dozen, I probably would have put a dozen eggs. But normally what you would do is put an egg for each person that you have invited to your meal. You want to make sure everybody gets one. And if you know you got people that go in there and dredge, they only have 2. Did you put celery in your gumbo? Okay, Gary, good question. I did not have any celery. I'm going to tell you why. Look, normally I put celery in my gumbo. So what I'm finding is getting hard for me to find stalks of celery. Everywhere I go and look for celery, you have the hearts of the celery. They chop each end off and they have the little short pieces. What happens, they give you like a 2 or 3 pound pack, 4 pound pack. They don't last. Because when you chop it, you introduce bacteria. Every time you put a knife to something, you're introducing bacteria. They put them out there to sell in a plastic bag, and then within a week, you've lost 3/4 of them because you don't need a lot of celery. So the only reason I don't have celery, because I don't have any. But normally, yes, Gary, I would put celery in here. So when you go out to buy celery, if you can buy it by the stalk, it's going to be a lot better. If you buy it cut in little short pieces, you better use it quick. Because those ends, and if you buy them, you'll notice those ends are brown. That's the air that's just sealed them, but it's also bacteria that's being introduced to that celery. And I don't care how clean your knife is, you're introducing some kind of bacteria to it. We don't work in this perfect world. All right. Now we just wait for this to start getting into a boil. The person that posted the gumbo cheese was your friend, Alvin Lacorda. Okay. All right, Kim. I was interested. I'm going to look at that because I may want to give that a try. What the hell? Now, something I'm going to bring into it, in all my gumbos, I put a little beef base. If you can get some beef bones and make you a stock, put it in a slow cooker all night, them bones, and let all that marrow get out of those bones, you're going to make you a good beef stock. It's hard to find the beef bones anymore, so a lot of the meat is being sold boneless. So the best thing to do is just buy your little beef stock. Chicken parts, you can buy trashy chicken parts. Beef bones, they've become very popular in the natural medicine world. Okay, we're almost getting back to a boil. Let's kick this fire up a little bit more. So something interesting I found, this was really cool. There's the 10 commandments of gumbo. I thought this was real cool. So first one is, thou shalt never use tomatoes in your gumbo. I'm going to go with that one. So the next one is, thou shalt not use uncaged sausage. I'm going to take that a little bit further. I don't know what they call Cajun sausage. I don't know what they call that. But what you could do also, you can take that and go to somebody, look for sausage that's smoked with real wood instead of institutional. I'm not knocking anybody's sausage. You get your favorite. But somebody that can still smoke with the real wood, to me, that's the original, that's the old Cajun sausage because that's the way we did it. So if your celery ends are turning, should it be thrown out? Not if the ends are turning, but Terry, as soon as those ends of the celery start turning, you're going to start seeing it where it starts getting really nasty along the celery. You'll see it start getting mushy. Throw it out. Just throw each. It's going to be each individual piece. But once one piece starts, it's like it's contagious in that bag. I've tried everything to save it, and I can't. And so if you buy the stalk, you just break your couple pieces off, and you use it in your food, and then put the stalk in your icebox. The next one is, thou shalt never use store-bought roux. I think I wrote that one. Because it's too much fun to make a roux. You just sit there, put your little music on, get that swing on. You ain't got no swing, you ain't got no thing, baby. Thou shalt always use a bowl. I didn't know that you ate gumbo without a bowl. So if you eat it in a plate, sounds like a stew to me. But it says you should always use a bowl. Thou shalt only use a wooden spoon. And thou shalt adhere to gumbo to rice ratio. 1 part rice to 2 parts gumbo. Now that one, I didn't even know about. Melissa said, oh, no, hell no, never store-bought roux. It's just too much fun to make your own. Yeah, you got to put that spot this way, George. That's right. You get that little thing going. You ain't got that thing, and if you ain't got no swing, baby, thou shalt always keep filet in your cabinet. That's our tradition. This one I'm not going to agree with. Thou shalt not mix chicken sausage with seafood. Well, let me tell you what, I break that one off it. So I done broke one of the commandments. Thou shalt never tell people where to put potato salad. Amen, brother. Never put weenies in gumbo. That's going to be the 13th one. Don't put weenies in any damn thing. People really do that, Kim? Thou shalt always stir your gumbo counterclockwise. So you know why they tell you that? Because if you stir your gumbo counterclockwise, you'll have a quiet hurricane season. Man, you go search around these newspapers, you find some stuff. So if you turn your gumbo counterclockwise, you are going to have a quiet hurricane season. Well, let me tell you what, the year Hurricane Ida hit, we must have all been turning clockwise because that was one bad Bama jammer. A chumbalona. Oh, hell no, Melissa. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of stock to it. Because I got, my gumbo. Because remember, you want this thing kind of thin. You want it more like a thin gumbo because these red beans are going to start thickening it up too. And I'm going to bring my base in. Now, Trish said, love counterclockwise. Yes, I will. Keep on turning counterclockwise. Keep them damn hurricanes away from here. Another reason for the cooking red beans on Monday too was you had that fancy ham on Sunday, so you can use that ham bone to cook your red beans at Monday, and they gave it great flavor. Not people from South Louisiana. I see pictures of out-of-state gumbos with weenies in it. So, Kim, you got a good point. If you go look at old newspaper articles, and you get out of Louisiana, I'm going to take that back. You get in different areas of Louisiana, you're not going to see what we're cooking here. It's amazing how much it changes in Louisiana. But remember, gumbo was called gumbo soup. I've seen gumbos where it was like a soup. They cook it like they're cooking, it's white instead of brown. They're not using the roux. They're making it with eggs and milk and stuff. But they're calling it gumbo because I guess they wanted the name. All right, Sassy. Man, I look forward to seeing you. Made my day. Oh, by the way, go Dogs. All right, Bobby. Go Dogs. That's right, brother. Got to give credit where credit is due. All right, so get this back to a boil. So here's one of them. While we wait for this to boil, red bean soup. So there was such a thing as red bean soup. They took a pint of beans, and this was made in 1914, okay? They soaked the beans And then they put in the cook with a carrot and other vegetables from a soup bunch with an onion in which with a few cloves of stuff. When done, save half of the beans with some of the liquid and use for use as a vegetable, and then press the rest through a sieve. So they were pressing it like we did here. They're pressing it through a sieve, and with a little butter and milk and perhaps a bit of freshly ground black pepper or ground pepper. This is an excellent soup. Cream and egg yolks make it richer. They, back in 1914 and in 1800s, were putting eggs in these already. So that's where that tradition comes from. So I thought that was pretty neat. Then they added a few other things to it, but that's what they would have called a red bean soup or red bean gumbo, because they use the terms kind of together. Terry, I don't order gumbo in a restaurant. Everyone is different. Terry, that's a true statement. I actually, the little bit I do go out and eat, I like to order a cup of gumbo so I can see how good or bad it really is. And a lot of it today is being made with either a gumbo base or a gumbo, and they'll just buy the 5-gallon bucket of roux because you just don't have time in a restaurant to sit there and make a roux every day. I did. What'd you say, Sherby? Okay, now we want to get this thing going and let it boil. I'm going to put these shallot tops in. I'm going to give it a little bit shallot bottoms and shallot tops. Save a little bit for later, and a little bit parsley. Now, there was another article about New Orleans. This is back in 1844. And one of the things they said, about New Orleans, they have as much fun probably in the Crescent City as in anywhere else on earth. So even back then, it was called the Crescent City, and they have as much fun as they have anywhere else on earth. So they were already looked at as a fun town. They passed through a deserted nunnery, which, like the wall that surrounded it, was crumbling. Thought that was interesting. And the long rows of Spanish and French houses that they walked around. Then the things that they saw, the antique overhanging roofs and fantastic signs, almost inducing me to think of myself in an aged city of an old world. We found ourselves in the heart of Gumbo Town. 1844, they were calling New Orleans Gumbo Town. I thought that was really interesting. And then they had about people on the street, people talking around the street, and then they had organ grinders, dancing monkeys, and squealing prima donnas. Not much has changed in New Orleans. It's still pretty wild. Rory, I used to cook gumbo for 500 people, and we would cook it in the day before and put it in the cooler overnight. Oh yeah, and it tastes better for the church fair. That's the man. If you can cook a gumbo the day before, this is gonna be a whole lot better tomorrow. A lot of restaurants put crab ball in their gumbo. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you brought that up, Gary. A lot of people, because it's red bean gumbo, I see them putting crab ball in there. I've tasted it. Man, I mean, if that's your thing, go ahead and do it. I think you're just ruining the good red bean gumbo. But some people like it, and that's cool. If you just put a little bit. If you put too much, it overpowers the gumbo, and you get that bite of crab ball in it, which I don't like. But like I said, it's all about our cooking. It's about what you like. Kim said he loved Menadors, but the gumbo is terrible. Some type of strong herb. So Kim, to give you an idea, years ago, they had a good gumbo. With the changing of hands and the changing of times, something happened. And you'll see a lot of places that you went and you used to eat a good gumbo, and you'll go back and somebody buys it, and they flip the recipe. They bring in something that just doesn't fit, and it's not that good. They used to have the best stuffed crabs in the world. Now they're not that great unless they change them. Okay, I'm going to bring a little bit more stock into it. Now, one of the things I did before I started making it, I fried my chicken. I took it and I just pot fried this chicken. I put a little salt and pepper on it and a little Mrs. Dash on it. just to kind of give it a little extra flavor. So Terry said it's German owned now, added a German flag. That could be it's a good possibility. Stuffed crabs. Melissa said that stuffed crabs suck. Believe it or not, the lady I bought this place from, her mother, or the husband and wife I bought this place from, I think his mom was the one that actually taught them when they first opened. She lived in Man Shack, gave those people the stuffed crab recipe. So they used to actually make the one they actually started with at one time, was given to them by a lady that was born and raised in Bastrop. Always like your historical perspectives. You're great at bringing the historical facts. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. My Aunt Luann used to make stuffed crabs. Okay, that was Melissa. Back in the day, they had a lot of local people that worked at this place. And this place right here, before I bought it, a lot of catfish was being caught clean and shipped off the Man Shack and being sold to Man Shack. Mr. Peanut used to deal in a lot of catfish at that time. And that's where his daddy used to live out there in Man Shack. Uh-oh. There it is. Man, I thought I lost my beer. Okay, Melissa said her mom was from Man Shack. There you go. So I'm also going to bring my chicken in. I want to give this time to cook before we bring the red beans in. Now, normally, I wouldn't be rushing it this much. Because we live, I'm pushing it a little bit harder. But I would let this cook a little longer and let it just simmer. But we're going to get this back to the boil and we get ready to bring our red beans in. It's been boiling a little while. I'm going to take a taste to see if I got that grittiness out of it. Let's see if I got it out. Well, Gary, we're going to fit them beans in that pot. Y'all know I run this stuff close. Oh, George, what I'm sipping tonight? A little Beta Amber, man. You know, I love that amber. And Melissa said she worked there every night, every summer until she got married. And Kim said the Lake Desalmon has the best catfish around. That's a fact. And that's where the Man Shack used to get all that catfish. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's coming around good. And we want to let this boil a little bit. We still go to visit the family to go crabbing and fishing. Man, they got Lake Pontchartrain, Man Shack area, best crabs in the world, no doubt. Now, if there's other seasons that you want to add in here, that's okay. Like I said, some people want to put crab balls, some people want to put different things. That's okay. I'm just keeping this one very simple, very basic, because I know my smoked meats are going to throw a lot of good flavor in here. And to me, when you're cooking a gumbo, it's a lot of the gumbo, it's about the smoke, the quality of the smoked meat that you put in here. Gumbo's nothing but flour, oil, and water. What you put in is what you're going to get. Trash in, trash out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. Let's see. So now, I'm going to bring in a little bit of salt. Now, I did not season my red beans. I'm going to give it a little bit of black pepper. I'm going to bring in a little bit of hot sauce. And y'all know we got to give them cane farmers a little loving. Now, if anybody's wondering why I put sugar in gumbo, I don't. I just had to show my buddies, support my cane farmers. Okay. So now we got a good roll in here. We're getting ready to start bringing the red beans in. Here we go. And you'll see it already has the sausage in it. Now, how much red beans you want to put in here? Man, that is just up to you. How much flavor you want in here. I remember my red beans got some turkey necks in it. My red beans had some sausage in it. I did not season my red beans because I want to go ahead because I knew all these meats are going to season this gumbo. So I want to season it after these beans cooking a little bit. Okay. In fact, okay, that was 2 pounds of beans in case you want to know. I hear that white bean soup, but I never made it. Ron, I got to try that one time. Somebody gave me a recipe and I lost it. A friend of mine, but I've heard that it's really good. And actually, they put shrimp in it. Ray Lynn says the sausage is what makes it. So Ray is one of my best sausage customers. Because she can't eat many people's sausage if in it. But she can eat the Spud Man's. All right. And while I have Raylene on here, if anybody's ever going to Disney World or taking a cruise, I think it's on Norwegian. Raylene is an agent. She can actually book and help plan your vacation for you, especially Disney World. They go to Disney World about 10 times a year. I mean, they really do go a lot. So if you're going to Disney World, you want to have a good experience, give Ray a call. She'll put you in the right direction. And if you ever need a number, call me. I'll let you know. Just email me or text me. Man, Spud, what about some fresh sausage? What about some fresh sausage in that, man? Ideas of flying in reserve. Man, throw some fresh sausage in there. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the fresh sausage would be really good in here. I think it'd be even better if you grilled it on the side and made you a little gravy with it. But I don't see why not, you know? Kim said he grilled some of my smoked sausage this past weekend. Meaty and awesome taste. Our smoked sausage, meat, salt, and pepper. There it is. Trish, can you cook us turtle soup? I'll bring the sherry. Trish, I don't see why not. Now, let me tell you what. So we may not be able to get the turtle. But we can use raw turkey necks to imitate the turtle. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of people did that. Turtle meat's hard to find. We may be able to get some. But yes, Trish, we can make that happen. Absolutely. A good turtle soup would be awesome. And yeah, you bring the sherry and we're going to cook the soup, chef. All right. Now you see, if you look in the pot, you see where it's changed color. It's got a nice red tint to it, okay? It's almost looking like a pot of red beans. So now you're going to have this creamy gumbo. Instead of just a watery kind of gumbo, you're going to have a nice and creamy. You're going to actually have a different texture to it, a little body to it. It's not something that you'd want to eat all the time, but I'm going to tell you, it's a change. And like I said, Monday, cook you some red beans. Thursday or Wednesday, cook your pot of gumbo. Get by the weekend, bring some together and have a total different meal. You heard it here first. Now, I'm going to give you a little taste. Give me a big spoon.
Yep.
Ooh. But Kim, you can actually imitate it with turkey necks. They used to do this in the old days, imitate turtle soup with turkey necks, raw turkey necks, and nobody even knew. And what they do, some of the older guys, they would take the turkey, they would steal a turtle and then put the turkey necks in it. And nobody knew. You had the camp, everybody's drinking, they can't tell what the hell they're eating. Thank you, Harvey. Oh man, this is coming along good. Whew. Yes, indeed. This is coming along real good. Now I need some more seasoning in it. I'm gonna bring a little bit of pepper in it. Remember, I put some black pepper already. Now I'm bringing a little red pepper in it. And I'm going to give it a little bit more salt. And if you see my salt is pink, I use Himalayan salt. Oh, Melissa, it's coming, baby. That's funny. Dance is kind of getting fired up already. Okay. We almost. Now, what I would do, once I put those red beans in, I would let it just simmer probably for about, you probably let it go at least a half hour, 45 minutes. And it's really going to do good. Crystal, St. John Theater reopens this Saturday night. It's been shut down since Hurricane Ida. The band Image, 60s and 70s band, is our opener. 7:30. Tickets are $25 online. stjohntheater.com or at the door. We would love to see everyone there. So Crystal's asking for support for the theater. They're really, between COVID and Hurricane Ida, like everybody else, they've gone through hell and back with this. So the band Image, 60s and 70s music, if you like that, is going to be the opener this weekend. And just go online to stjohntheater.com. Do you ever use white pepper? Ronald, I've used it before. I just never think about buying it. I always use red, and when people couldn't take, when I had to cook for the public and I couldn't use the black pepper, I would use a little red pepper. A little white pepper. But me personally, I'd rather the black pepper. It's just my personal thing. But yeah, I have used it. Bonnie said it's looking good. She's going to make her some. Bonnie, definitely make you some. Okay, and I'm going to put my rest of my parsley in here and let this thing just finish cooking down. Now, I probably still have some adjustments to do with my seasoning. All right, let's see what we're looking like. Oh, hell yeah. I think I forgot the seasoning right. What you get, you have that unique gumbo flavor that we have out here, and you're tasting that with the red bean flavor. This dish here, Guimbo, I got chicken, sausage, andouille, and turkey necks, and some chicken gizzards in here. But you can create this any way you like it, buddy. Get creative. I like Joy's idea a while ago. Put some fresh sausage in it. If you did that, then I would grill that fresh sausage before you put it in. Man, y'all know we got to do the French bread taste. If you want it, here it is. Come and get it. Ronald looking for them eggs. Ronald looking for them damn chickens and multiplying this thing. God. With that French bread, out of sight. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm going to lower this fire. I'm going to get one more stir. Now, because I want to get it in a little simmer, we're going to start bringing those eggs in. We'll get one more little touch of pepper. Because once you put these eggs in, you don't want to, thank you, Gary. You don't want to stir this thing around, okay? You can almost turn the pot off when you put the eggs in, because this thing is still hot, especially if you have a cast iron pot. We're going to leave it on a little bit. Now, I'm getting ready to do this. Don't try it at home because you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to crack an egg over your food. But it's mine. If I eat a shell, oh, what the hell? And I'm a professional. Okay. This is for information only. So the eggs are going to give it a really good flavor. Believe me, you want that egg in your bowl. Oh, wow, I know it is good. I could just make me a sandwich with it. Oh, hell yeah, Bonnie. A little French bread. You gotta remember, French bread goes with everything. Now, we're gonna let those eggs poach in here now. And Crystal said her shells would fall in. Gary, I thought they were hard ball. But Gary, that's a good one. If some people they don't like poached eggs, or they won't let the eggs poach in their food. If you want to put hard ball, that is very common in our area. They take hard boiled eggs and drop them in there. That is very common. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially in a crawfish stew, stuff like that. You definitely have to have some kind of eggs. I love boiled eggs in a stew. So you definitely want that. Now, you got to do this with a lot of love. You just want to make sure, all I'm making sure now, there's nothing sticking down here. Okay. We good. But Gary, if you never tried this with the eggs like this, the poached eggs, with the red bean gumbo, man, it is a match. It just nails this gumbo, brings it to another level. And the more of these eggs you put in, the better. Y'all. Man. So you're gonna start seeing the eggs. You see it right here. Let's take a peek in that pot. This is one egg that's poaching right here. See it? I'm trying to look. Here's another one right here. You see it starting to poach. And like I said, right now, you can actually, there's another one right there. And there's your yolk right there. So you can actually turn this pot off. There's another one right here in this corner. There's one over here in this corner, right here. And you want to let them go into the eggs, the yolks are solid. Unless you like your eggs to bust all over into your gumbo. Boiled eggs and boiled potatoes and crawfish too. Oh, hell yeah, Terry. Okay. Now, the traditional way to serve gumbo, serve it over rice. I'm not a big rice eater. This is probably going to be Elaine's bowl. But we're going to serve it to see what it looks like. And that'll give you a good idea. Let's switch back. This is going to give you a good idea what it looks like over rice. Man, I wish y'all could come get some. And I'm actually going to turn it off now. It's done. But yeah, Marshall. Thank you, Trish. You are the best. Fab food, fab entertainment. Thank you, baby. Bring that cherry and come on over, and you can come cook some turkey soup with me. I mean turtle soup. Turtle soup with turkey in there. We go get some turtle, Trish. Just want to see if y'all paying attention. Ooh, Lord. Y'all, this thing is out the box. Man, if this don't make you swing, if you ain't got that swing, you ain't got that thing, baby. Whoo, Lord. Oh, Lord. Just a totally different flavor, but something different, but good. You wouldn't think, when I first time I heard it, I said, man, this is about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I love it. So it's something for you to try, kind of change things up with your gumbo, with your gumbos. And Kim said we had a good show, but he just gained 5 pounds. Welcome. Cheers to that, brother. Thank you, Pepe. So, a reminder, Sunday, we're going to have our chicken dinners. Something new I'm trying to start. Everybody's asking me about, we have nothing to eat on Sunday, nothing to open on Sunday. So people asking me to cook, asking me to open my kitchen, which I'm not going to do. But we're going to do our dirty rice and baked chicken dinners Sunday. I have probably about 25, 30 left that could be sold that you can come with. If you walk in Sunday, you kind of take a chance, but I may have some extra. But if you want to be guaranteed one, give me a call. Right now, we have about 80 sold. So, we still have about 30 left that we can sell. So give me a call, text me, call me on my cell or text me on my cell. And you can go ahead and put your order in. We'll be here from 10 to 12:30. Hey, Vicky, thank you, baby. All right, Rory. So next time, somebody asked for something like I think mulligan stew. Mulligan stews. Mulligan stew. Mulligan stew sounds like a good dish for next time. We're gonna make a good old mulligan stew. That's what I feel. And then we're gonna follow that with something with venison. As soon as I get me some deer meat. So that's it for tonight. Thank y'all for coming on board. Love y'all. God bless y'all. Lays on, lay back, on the wood, lay, baby.
Don't get me wrong, I love my life. These concrete walls, these city lights. What I'm about to say, it won't make no sense, but I gotta get it off my chest.